you're all doing really well, and welcome to my spoiler-free review of She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. So thank you to the publishers for sending me this. I got sent this when I was working as a bookseller for free in exchange for honest reviews. I will be posting this to YouTube as well as a written version to Goodreads and also the Waterston's website. So most of you have probably heard of She Who Became the Sun. This was incredibly hyped up last year, I think was when it came out. And yeah, so it's taken me a wee minute to get to it, to be honest, but I did, you know, it was definitely one I definitely wanted to read, partly just because once it was overhyped and it kind of came out, people either loved it or they hated it. I definitely wanted to find out which camp I fell into. As I said, this will be a spoiler-free review, so definitely keep watching if you want to find out what I thought of this book. The synopsis, more or less, is you follow a nameless girl who is sort of ignored by her father in favour of her brother, Zhu Chongba. They're living through a sort of really intense famine, and one day bandits come and raid the village for what little food they have. Her father is killed when the raiders come, and her brother Zhu dies soon after. And the nameless girl then decides to take up her brother's identity and go on to achieve the great future that was foretold for him by a fortune teller. And it leads her down this path into a monastery and then into the army, where she sort of starts to rise through the ranks to achieve this greatness that was foretold. So the character of Zhu Chongba is a really interesting protagonist to follow, because you kind of watch her grow from a nameless girl into the character that she does become. She's ambitious and ruthless and absolutely determined to achieve the greatness that this name has been foretold to have. And I found her actually really easy to root for, despite the fact that, you know, despite some of the decisions she goes on to make. I liked the approach to gender in this book as well. Obviously she's a woman who masquerades as a man, but sort of as things go on, she begins to identify neither as a woman nor as a man. She uses whichever of those genders will help her get what she wants. You know, she doesn't really feel any connection to either of those sorts of things. If people see her as a man, then that's fine. If they see her as a woman, then that's fine. You know, she doesn't really care. And I just found that to be a really interesting way to discuss gender, and I guess perhaps, like, you know, being gender free as this character is, which I just thought was really interesting, particularly in this quite historical sort of time period. It's set in sort of roughly 1300s China, although the author does point out that, you know, they have borrowed from lots of different time periods and stuff. This is not a historical book kind of thing, it is fantasy. They have just sort of taken liberties where they want to. But it was just very interesting to sort of see that within this context. I thought the plot was very well paced. You spend enough time in each scenario to kind of understand how it changes you and how it propels her into the next chapter of her life. You know, nothing felt too rushed or under-explained, which I definitely liked. The introduction of the other characters central to the story was done well as well. And I liked the additional points of view that these characters provided. The first part of the book follows only Zhu, and then you get these 3 additional points of view. And it really just it was just a really great decision by the author, I think. Like, I felt it really gave you a well-rounded view of the character and her motivations, because you then see it from her point of view as well as in the way she's viewed by other people. I especially liked the character of Ouyang, who serves as a sort of personal antagonist to Zhu later in the book. I liked their interactions and how they tried to outsmart each other. It was just a very compelling dynamic that the two of them had together. This is a very gentle book as well. I'd hesitate to call it slow, but it does take its time, which I think was just a really good decision though, since it is almost entirely character focused. So the slower pace lets you spend time with the character and understand why she does the things that she does. I also really liked Ma's character in the book as well, and what she represents for Zhu and how she influences Zhu's decisions at times, pointing out other ways to play the political game that Zhu has entered, and have a really good dynamic. And I liked their relationship and kind of how that started and progressed and stuff, and as well Ma kind of being a confidant for Zhu and stuff, you know, and just kind of what that meant for them. You know, you got some really interesting ideas just sort of thrown around between the two of them, because Ma really, it does feel like she can say what she wants to Zhu, and Zhu almost asks her to do that, you know, she's like, no, you be my conscience kind of thing. I did just really like that kind of aspect of their relationship. It very much felt like a partnership, you know. Quite often when you are reading books and stuff and you've got relationships, I don't know, like, I almost sometimes feel like the partner's just kind of there to be, oh yes, and then they were in a relationship. Whereas with Ma, I definitely feel like Zhu wanted her to be her partner, she wanted her to be her equal, and, you know, she does more or less treat her that way. My general thoughts on this book is I liked it. It felt like a historical military epic, but like I said, with a couple of small fantasy elements thrown in here and there. But so you almost feel like you'd have a hard time calling it fantasy, but as I said, because it's like not historically accurate, you know, obviously you kind of can't really call it that. It's a really solid read. I think it was maybe slightly overhyped when it came out. Like, it's not the most amazing thing I've ever read, but you know, if you don't like slower paced character-centered books, then yeah, this isn't for you. But I really enjoyed this. I really liked the kind of historical military sort of setting. It was very kind of like Poppy War-esque at times. I really liked Zhu as a character. Like, she honestly, seeing her in the monastery, seeing her outsmart kind of the challenges that she had there, seeing how she almost manipulates everyone into thinking she's this harmless monk, and kind of it's when once they start to realise just how cunning she actually is, it's too late for everybody to kind of like backtrack on letting her achieve the power that she does. You know, she's just a really great character, and yeah, like I said, she's obviously having a great main character is really important when you're reading, because obviously, you know, if you're following them, you want to be able to read for them. You know, really great character study. Really great interactions with other characters. But yeah, it's not really one I would reread in a hurry, but I did really enjoy this one despite the sort of hype that it got. Apparently there's going to be a sequel, but honestly I think that would be a bad idea. This works so well as a standalone, and I like the ending. You know, I do really like the ending, and I like the journey that you go on here. So if there's a sequel, I don't think I'd read it, to be honest, because I kind of liked this for what it was. But thank you so much for watching. Have you read She Who Became the Sun? Did you fall into the love it or hate it camp? Let me know down below in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. Did you agree or disagree with anything I said in this video? Let me know. Let's have a discussion. If you reached the end of this video, feel free to leave a like and feel free to subscribe. I post 2 videos a week. But thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.